In this video, I review the controversial and polarizing 600 horsepower dual motor Tesla Cybertruck. I'll walk you through all of its features, perform the first real world performance test with 0 to 60 in quarter mile times, and try and drive it with my Apple Vision Pro.
Hey everybody, Brooks from Jack here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm finally getting my hands on the new Cybertruck, and today I'm going to review it. I'm going to go over a bunch of features on the car, which you might have seen in some other videos, but I'm going to do it my style, and of course, give the dual motor Cybertruck a performance test, which I'm not sure we've seen yet. This is the 600 horsepower dual motor foundation edition, and it comes in at just over 100,000. Now, as you can see, there are no wheel caps in the car because they were still testing and they had some fixes to do for that. There's some other features that are missing from the car that we'll go over that are kind of surprising. So starting from the outside, we got three buttons on the back here. One drops the tailgate, which is electric, and the other one raises the tonneau cover, which is electric as well. Now inside we have some LED lighting and some tracks to kind of secure things down, which you can see right here. There's also some additional storage underneath here. So you can see this has actually got some gas struts, which is nice. So you got more storage there. We'll actually drop that back down in there. Looks like we got the mobile connector and so forth. Push this back down. On the left here, we got power outlets. And this is pretty cool. You can actually, this is a 40 amp, 240 volt outlet. So you can charge other cars. Maybe I'll back up the SF90 and charge up the SF90 using the Cybertruck. Crazy, every car that drives by is absolutely staring at this thing. You cannot roll down the road in this car without people just following you around, just wanting to catch a glimpse of the Cybertruck. It gets more looks than any car in my garage, and of course that's because it's brand new. By the end of the year, these things will probably be everywhere and not such a novelty. To get in the truck, there's a hidden button right here. You press that button, it pops open. These are not soft close or auto close doors, which I would kind of expect given the heft of these doors like on the Model X. If we want to open up the rear, same thing, press this button, it pops open and you can pull it open. Now this is nice because it opens completely perpendicular to the car, which allows you to load things in. In the back you can see we got plenty of room. There's another LCD screen for the rear passengers back here. Now this is kind of cool. If you want extra storage, pull here. This folds up on both sides and gives you a lot of kind of storage in here if you didn't want to load things in the back of the truck bed. Now if you want to fold that back down, simply pull there, jump in the back. We'll start in the back and see how much space we got. I mean, it's a ton of space. My legs are completely extended out. This is the driving position that I'm in. And if we shut the doors, there we go. Now we're inside. It's got a full pano glass roof. It's got ambient lighting, which is color changing as well. And out the back, since we have the cover down, we can actually see out the back. With the tonneau cover closed, you lose all rear visibility, and there's no camera in the rearview mirror, which would have been an interesting and good feature to have, like the Corvette and Escalade and some other things. Instead, they use a rear camera which displays on the front display, which I'll show you in a minute. Now if you want to adjust the air in the rear, it's got kind of these kind of similar, aim the vents how you want. It looks like it has 3 vents, so you can aim them backwards and forwards. You got your fan speed, you got your media source, you can play YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and Twitch. And I think over here we got heated seats in the rear as well. In the back of the seat we got some seat pockets, and then over here we got a lot of kind of storage for anything you want over here, plus a cup holder. To get out, press the button, the door pops open. All right, so now let's jump inside and check out some of the interior features. It's got the yoke steering wheel. This is standard. You can't get a circular one, and I like this more than the Plaid because it's got better buttons and more buttons. So right here you got the turn signals, which are actually not haptic. You can actually press them and it's easy to use. It's got a horn. Oh my goodness. I would pay a lot of money to have an actual horn where it's supposed to be in my Tesla Plaid. Instead of my Plaid, you got to press a button here. Other buttons in the steering wheel. This is for your up and down. It's going to be your cruise control or autopilot speed. This is to bring up all your cameras over here. This is windshield wiper. This is your voice control. 2 wireless chargers. You just drop your phone down into there and it charges on both sides, which is nice to have. Very, very handy. Couple of cup holders. Inside the center console you got a tray and then a pull-out tray with some more storage underneath. Now, one thing I will notice, when you press the camera button here, the camera quality is way, way better than any Tesla I've ever had. So looking here, you got your front view. If you want to go to the rear view, press that. Now we get our rear view, which is actually looks like it's looking down because I have the trailer bed open, and then you got the left and right. So now that I've lowered the truck tailgate, now you can see the rear very, very clear. Now we'll also notice, if you go into the settings and to service and camera preview, you can see all the cameras using the camera preview screen. So right now, this is way, way better than the in-cabin cameras, way better than what's in the rest of my Teslas, which is just basically a black and white image. This is probably good or bad, because it's good because you can see better, but it's probably bad because it can see better and monitor you more closely using the autopilot. I've been able to trick my car using some other methods I'll get into later because the image quality is not so good. But we can also see the rest of them. So we go to the main camera, we got the front, we got our wide angle for the front, our left door pillar, our right fender. You got your right door pillar, and if you keep sliding, we got our right fender, and then our rear view, and then our fascia cam, which is, I guess, a different view of the rear. Now, going through some of the menus, we have the controls, which you can open and close the tonneau. You can raise and lower the ride height, which I believe has almost a foot of travel. These are the standard things. You open your glove box and so forth. Dynamics, we have comfort, sport, and custom. Now, since this is not the Cyber Beast, it's only the dual motor, not the 3 motors. It doesn't have launch control or Plaid mode or Cyber Beast mode or anything like that. So I believe when we do the performance testing, we're just going to stab on the throttle and see how fast it goes. For towing and hauling, this is your standard kind of towing stuff where you got your trailer brake rain and your trailer brake boost and all that kind of stuff. We're not doing that. Charging, standard kind of charging, your outlet and mods. So here is where you can turn on and off the outlets for the rear and so forth like that. Now, autopilot, look at this. Traffic aware cruise control, no full self-driving available, upcoming, and no autopilot either. This car has 0 autopilot, which is kind of crazy to deliver a Tesla truck with no autopilot. But I guess that's coming soon. Maybe they need more driving dynamics and more testing of the cameras for this thing to actually use autopilot. Maybe it's too big, maybe it's the steering, which I'll get into in a minute, which is really, really crazy steering. This has 4-wheel steering and variable steering control. This steering wheel is basically a joystick. There is 0 connection between this physically and anything inside the car. So they can variable the steering ratios based on how fast you're going. So once I unplug and show you this, it's crazy how agile this truck actually is when it's so big. Now, before we get to the steering, let's just go through the rest of the menus. Our locks, this is kind of standard. Our lights, so you can change the accent lights. So this is what's over here. You can change the color whatever you want. So you can see that changing. This would probably look a lot better at night, but we'll just leave it on red for now. And then on down, you got your display, light, dark, reduce black light, the brightness, the rear view cameras, and so forth like that. So because when you close the tonneau cover in the back, right now I can see out the back, but if I go to controls and close this, you can see as it comes up, we will have no visibility out of the rear. And to get around that, instead of putting the rear view mirror like a digital version right here, when you're driving, you just get a rear view, which I'll show you as we go for the drive right there. One other little funny thing is if you tap this 4 times,
oh man, it didn't go through.
Little bit of an Easter egg right there showing when they shadowed the Cybertruck window at the delivery event, which I was actually at a few years ago. Back down to the rest of the menus, we got the navigation, we got the safety. This is kind of standard if you've driven a Tesla before. I'm not going to go over it in much detail. Our service mode, which we looked at before with the camera previews, and then software updates, and then upgrades. So now let's check out the crazy steering. I'm gonna have to go ahead and unplug the car so I can turn it on. and then we'll check out how the four-wheel steering and the variable steering angle works. So we're gonna open this up right here. All right, so now let's check out the variable steering. So at slow speeds, this is just a joystick. There's no connection to the wheels at all, so it can change how much it turns the wheels. That's it. That's full turn left and right. And as you can see, the rear wheels are turning back and forth in an opposite direction than the front wheels. So this enables the Cybertruck to be super, super agile and turn in very, very tight circumstances. All right, so the Cybertruck has adjustable ride height. Right now we're on entry, so when you put it in park, the car drops down so that you don't have a hard time getting out of the truck, but you can also raise it up to high. And let's see how much suspension travel this has. All right, so now we're raising it up to the fullest high position, which I believe it's got 14 inches of suspension travel. So now that it's all the way up, you can see, I mean, it's not that comfortably getting out of. All right, so now you gotta jump in. Let's drop it back down to low mode. I'm guessing it probably drops down a little bit quicker. Another interesting features, look at the size of this single wiper blade. Oh, geez. I believe this is a 4-foot wiper blade, which covers most of the enormous Cybertruck's front windshield. Of course, around the front, you got this single, very futuristic looking LED bar coming across the front. I believe there's also some lights down here, which are probably the actual headlights. These are probably just running lights. These are actual lights. And we got some tow hooks in the front as well. There is the front camera. Interesting enough, that is not directly in the center of the truck. Now let's check out the front. To open that, we press right here. That'll pop the front open, which is electric, and it kind of opens up like that. I believe you can also close this electrically as well. Now, yeah, I've seen the kind of funny videos where they stick a carrot or something right here and then cut it and it closes off. I mean, in any kind of rear hatch, if you took that and did this on the Tesla Model Y, open up the rear hatch and then close it on something with the angle, you know, right over here, I'm sure it would cut something in half as well. So I think that's just kind of people just doing Tesla stuff to make fun of Teslas. I guess I do see their little point, because this is can be a pretty sharp edge right there. The front storage, there's not a ton in here. I guess you could pretty much fit a carry-on and some bags. Given how big the truck is, I'm wondering what's back here that wouldn't give us some more space. I know in the Ford F-150 Lightning that I did a little video on, there's a ton of space in the front of the Ford. Not so much here in the Cybertruck. If we want to close it, it looks like we press that button right there, and then it shuts down. So enough talking, let's do some driving and performance testing, see how fast the dual motor Cybertruck is. Okay, let's take it for a drive. We just put it in drive and it's obviously super, super quiet. And the turning rate, that's full lock. And I just basically made a 90-degree turn. And it takes a little bit to get used to. The steering, definitely, like, but as you go faster, the steering wheel allows you to travel more. It's just really weird. As I go slower, you know, if I turn this much, the car really, really starts to turn. But you get used to it pretty quickly. Pickup seems pretty good. It's got a lot of regen sounds to it. Inside the cabin is super, super quiet. I would say this is, even with these big, huge off-road tires, is quieter than my Plaid. Outward view is really, really good. You can see completely over the front because of the yoke steering wheel and no front display in front of you. I do wonder when Tesla might come out with some heads-up displays to add some data there. Now you can see over here, this is where the rear view mirror shows up because I have the tonneau cover closed. I'm going to leave that closed for this initial drive while I do the performance testing, because that probably helps with aerodynamics, even though this car or truck is 7,000 pounds. Now keep in mind, this is the dual motor, so it only has 600 horsepower. The tri-motor will be coming out towards the end of the year. I have that on order. That one's gonna be 850 horsepower, and that's the one that you saw in the video when it was racing the Porsche 911. So I'm gonna go ahead and stab him 30. I mean, all right, there you go. That's 60 miles an hour. Now, I don't believe there's any launch control in this car, so when we do performance tests, we're just gonna stab it from a stop. I did try and depress the brake and put the throttle down. It just says both pedals will press, kind of like the Plaid does when you don't have it in Plaid or drag mode. But it is crazy how many people follow this truck around because it's just so unique right now. Now I have the ride height set to low, and I'm not sure if we put it in high how much, if it feels like more floaty when you drive. And here we go, we got another Tesla in front of us right here. I mean, yeah, that steering definitely takes some getting used to. I'm not used to driving such a big car. My rear end's probably sticking out right now. I'm take it on the highway right here, see what the highway kind of driving feels like, how floaty it is being a large truck coming on a sweeper. Definitely want to be careful with the steering because I don't want to overreact given the steering angle, but I mean, this thing handles remarkably well around sweepers. I don't know, I'm sure it's got active suspension going on here, but it's just so crazy smooth. Wow. Pretty effortless to drive, very quiet. We got a lot of wind today, so I am hearing quite a bit of wind noise, but that is probably from these high winds we got right now. Yeah, I mean, everyone's videoing this car right now. I got a Tesla on the left right here with their camera out. It's just wild. You really can't go anywhere in this car. Pretty crazy. Now I'm so used to using autopilot in a Tesla. It's just weird that we got nothing here. No autopilot at all. It does have cruise control, so I'm going to crank that up to, let's see what the max cruise control is. There we go. So max cruise control is actually 90, so I could take my foot off the throttle here, and it's going to maintain speed in front. And it's car smooth, drives great. Tesla's trailing me behind here. This guy is sitting right next to me over here looking. This is going to be super interesting to look at, to say none the least. It's really weird how polarizing, number one, electric versus gas is from the start. And then on top of that, you got the Cybertruck. I made a post on my Instagram just saying, you know, Cybertruck video coming soon, love it or hate it. And the comments are just wild from people who just absolutely love it, think it's the future, and it's just great to see something fresh and new, versus all the haters who are just like, that thing's nasty, throw up emojis, get out of here with that, we don't want to see it. I mean, it just goes on and on and on how polarizing this car is. So I mean, cruising on the highway at 80 miles an hour. I'm not getting a ton of tire noise either, which I'm kind of surprised given how huge these off-road tires are. I know if you're in a TRX or a Raptor, you can hear that roaring tire noise. I wonder if that's just, this car is just that well insulated, or it's a special tire. I mean, I'll roll down the windows and see if we can hear them roaring. Let's see. Nope. All I'm hearing is wind noise, not hearing that kind of roaring tire craziness. I have to say, getting used to no rear view mirror is really weird. It's weird that I keep looking up here and it's completely black, and I keep forgetting to look down here. Again, I just don't understand why they wouldn't have just put a digital rear view mirror in the Tesla. I imagine that's probably coming later. Why would you not have that instead of displaying on the screen? I know it's more parts, and Tesla says no part is the best part, but it's a little weird looking down here in the rear view mirror versus trying to look up here. And especially since when you have the tonneau cover open, you can actually use that. So now you're looking in two different places depending on, you know, how you have the car set up and you're driving. Regen is actually pretty strong in this car. You can really feel it regenning. So right turn signal, it gives you a rear side camera view here, which is way better at resolution and color than my Tesla Plaid. All right, here we go. No launch control. It's going to stab it. Let's see what the dual motor Cybertruck does. Let's go. There we go. There's 60. 4.07 with no rollout. And there we go. We're topped out 114 miles an hour. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't come off like a Plaid. There's 60. believe this top truck's at about 110, so we might top out the quarter mile in top speed. There we go, 114. Gotta say, super smooth, even at those speeds. I don't think the Cyber Beast is gonna have any trouble either. So this video would not be possible without my buddy Ray letting me use his awesome Cybertruck. Link down in the description to check out Ray's Instagram. And he runs a company called TradeX, trusted partners in hand protection, disposable gloves. If you need some of this for your company or business, I'll put a link down in the description to his website. All right, so that's a wrap on my review of the Cybertruck and the test drive and the performance testing. 0 to 60 with the rollout 3.8, without the rollout 4.0 something. Tesla says 4.1, not sure if they're quoting with or without rollout, but that's what it is. 12.4 at 109 miles an hour on the quarter mile. It did not reach top speed before the quarter mile. Top speed, Tesla says 111 miles an hour, but we actually got 114 miles an hour, and it is just rock solid stable, even on these big tires at that speed. Now, I'm sure you've seen that video where you got the guy in the Tesla Cybertruck driving with the Apple Vision Pro glasses on. And I believe that was just a fake video, although he definitely was driving for a little bit. But since I got an Apple Vision Pro here, we might as well just do it in the real world and see how this works. All right, so now I'm recording in the Tesla Cybertruck. And there's my, I don't know if we want to bring up a Safari window or something like that. I'm not too great at this yet, but let's go ahead and let's say we bring up Safari. If you wanted to browse the web, and let's see if we move this over here. I mean, it's just, I don't want to interfere my field of view, because if I do that, then I can't see what's driving over there. So imagine this with autopilot would be a lot easier, and or I can dial back the transparency. But let me go ahead and close this out, because you could see where this could work really well and other times maybe not so much. So here we go, driving in the Cybertruck. It says tracking failed, and it's just going crazy now. It does not like it when you're driving. Make sure nothing is covering the bottom of your Vision Pro and that your surroundings are well lit. That's what it says. So I don't recommend doing this, although I can see plenty fine, and I could see where an application this would be pretty cool if you're at autopilot. Now this truck doesn't have autopilot yet, so I'm not sure what to do here. Maybe you put it in airplane mode. Tracking failed. It doesn't like it when you're moving around like that. So anyways, I think I'll just sit here for a minute and give you an idea of what it might be like if you were using this while you're actually driving. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work too well. I'm not even going to try it, but nevertheless, Apple Vision when driving, probably not recommended. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up, helps the video on the channel, and we'll see you next video.